So if you're running on the sidewalk, run on the sidewalk. Hop onto the road, avoid the car, jump onto the curb, go to the grass, go to that stone wall, and keep adjusting and running on those different surfaces on the terrain so that we work things a different way and strengthen all sorts of things as well. And it's good to cover one thing and work the next. It's very simple, which is you never want to exceed 90 degrees or perpendicular between your lower leg and the ground. When I'm here, I'm safe. When I'm here, not safe. This, spring. This, hammer. Avoid the hammer. Sledgehammer, bad. Spring, good. So you keep it in nice and close. Closer you keep it in, the style, which is I lower the landing gear. So I'm running on something nice and soft, I'm up nice and high. As soon as I hit the rocks, I'm down nice and low, I've dropped my arms, and my heel is just barely off of the ground. So that center of gravity, nice and low. You up every morning, you feel great. Yeah. It's actually she decided because of last year. Most I've done how barefoot like it is, no matter how thin it is, changes my stride and inherently makes me land heavier. So it depends on the air temperature, it depends on the humidity, it depends on how cold the ground is and how long the ground has been cold, and then also the moisture on the ground. So all those things come into effect.
I was just about to...
Spring conditions, and you can find some ice to run on or some wet stuff to run on, go for the ice. The ice is a lot warmer, but the water is what's soaking away the moisture, or soaking away the heat from your feet. 100 yards, and the reason is it's a different stride than walking.
I haven't specifically gone to this kind of thing before.
Yep.
But I have been barefoot a lot, and I have run barefoot a lot. It's not specifically trying to do this.
If you've run barefoot a lot, that's a very different situation. Then you already have some of that under your belt. Now, if you haven't been barefoot this season yet, I'd say start into it slowly. But it's just a listening to your body and letting our body tell us what we're capable of. Now, for everybody else, typically what I get at talks and clinics is negotiations. People tell me, well, what about under this condition can I go longer? Well, what about under this? Okay, first off, he's saying his calves and Achilles are starting to get tight. What does that mean? Let your skin be your guide. Let's go back to some fully barefoot time. I'd also like to see you shorten your stride, and I'd like to see you for now landing probably a little bit lower on your foot with the heel maybe brushing the ground.
Okay.
The higher up, the more work it is on the calf and Achilles, which is great over time, but particularly not in the beginning. So your body's saying you need to back off a little bit. What we don't want to get is a tendinitis going on in here where it becomes a real long-term chronic condition. So the other thing I want you to do is work on stretching things out after your runs or at the end of the day. Now the old school way of stretching calves and Achilles is what? Going up to one of these trees here and going and horking on things right like that. Well, do you know what that does, particularly if you do it on cold muscles? Good tears thing, because we're only getting the attachment points of the muscles. Instead, what we want to do is roll out through the belly or the bed or get through the entire muscle. And a great way to do this is with this medieval torture device right here, typically called your foam roll. And what you're going to do with your foam roll after your runs is you are simply going to roll out over the calves and Achilles, look for the tightest spots that you could possibly find. You'll feel some knots in here, you may even feel a golf ball or a grapefruit. And you're going to go and hold on that spot for a minute or two and start until it starts to melt and go away, and then go hunting and looking for your next spot. Now, and go for you also get your IT band. It's the rope-like connective tissue that attaches from your hip to your knee, you can pull into your feet. This, over your IT band, look for the tightest spots that you can find. Go onto your quad as well, which if you have tight, well, almost all the muscles and tendons of our legs begin beneath our glutes or in our piriformis region here. So simply take the ball. I apologize, just one time, you will not be thanking me for this. See, barefoot running, no pain equals maximum gain. Listen to your body, be a baby. Except when you've got the ball here, go hunting for the tightest spots you can find. You are going to sit on this.
They want to be nice and tight.
Oh. I promise, particularly if you're on book tour, you will find some tight spots, some really good tight spots. And that's a good thing. It's pulling down onto my calf and onto the bottom of my foot right now. That referred pain is a good thing. See, our body is a kinetic chain. One thing pulls on the next, pulls on the next, until it gets to the weak link. My weak link right now being my calf and the bottom of my foot. If I work on the ball at this spot here, I protect what's going on down there. So really go hunting. Both sitting on the ball, hip, that's the only thing that's kept me going with my titanium hip, and even roll onto your belly and get into your psoas region to help loosen up everything. Good, because it helps with blood flow through the evening, which helps with recovery. You wake up a lot looser in the morning by doing it. Produce a lot of pain. Start light so that we learn what listening to your body is. I don't mind you over time though, really working in. This becomes like your own personal deep tissue massage. However, if you dig in really good, you are going to be sore the next day. It means really hydrate well. If you really work into it, realize the next day or so is going to be more of a recovery day rather than a day to go and hit it nice and hard. The more I do this, the more I wake up the bottom of my foot along with my calf and Achilles. And I'll go this way, I'll also rotate over like that, and then I'll even rotate over the heel like that. Now, if I've got any tight or sore spots on the bottom of the foot, I don't do it so much before a run, but afterwards I can take a ball like this, or even better, a golf ball, or my favorite is one. And what that means is we can really work into this too much if we're not careful. So when it comes to the bottom of the foot and working out the knots, start extra light and see how the foot responds. Because you could literally create a fracture if you go onto a golf ball and just start wailing with it. The only difference is are nice and light on that forefoot, but that takes the most time and work to get into. The second one is grabbing with your toes, which I was teaching people earlier as you walk, because when you do that, you build up the shape of the arch, you give yourself nice and natural support. And the third one is rolling off of the heel, which means our heels are not shaped like hammers, they're shaped like tennis balls. So if you picture having a tennis ball under your heel, you will walk. You stay nice and tall and light, a string pulling yourself to the sky, but you roll underfoot. Oh. Yeah.
So, are you doing the same thing tomorrow before the 5K?
Same thing tomorrow before the 5K, and we'll be giving a talk this afternoon, and we're going to talk about if you do need to wear footwear, what to look for in that this afternoon as well.